Good afternoon, Tony Dantino, founder of the USA Memory Championship, recovering from a virus that I got this past week. It seems that whatever this bug is that's going around in Florida, the Orlando, Orange County area got to me, and I couldn't go for 5 minutes I couldn't talk for more than 5 minutes without coughing on Wednesday. So I'm back with you today, feeling better, been to the doc, had the right medications that I'm taking, and feeling better. So I'm back here with my Live with Tony. And obviously, as I had time to sit and not run around and do stuff, had a chance to read several of my articles that come to me on a regular basis. So I wanted to at least recap some of those for you this morning. The Tufts Health and Nutrition Letter. In January, they have the January 2026 issue. Yeah, we're at 2026. They had a quiz in here, check your nutrition knowledge. And it was interesting, they had questions here, 12 questions on how do you evaluate your nutritional habits. So the first one was cardiovascular disease increases the risk for heart attacks, stroke, and heart failure, kidney problems, and dementia. So cardiovascular disease increases the risk for dementia. And wow, when you stop and think about that and say, how does cardio, your heart items, have an impact on your mental functions, your thinking? And the answer that you get when you go to number one here is all of the above. Cardiovascular disease includes the buildup of plaque in your veins and arteries that deliver blood to all of your organs. This buildup increases the risk for heart attacks, stroke, heart failure, kidney disease, and dementia. So who thinks about the cardio system we have, or oxygen in our breathing, until you begin to realize how significant our cardio system is to our mental functions, and whether or not we're tired or we're stressed, or how our brain and our bodies are reflecting on things that are in front of us. And so I found it as an interesting question that cardiovascular disease can increase your risk for dementia. And very few people think of that when they're going for their heart attacks or their heart meds or their cardio tests, their stress test, or an echo test, whatever they're doing in terms of their heart. Are they linking it to their mental functions? So I found it to be an interesting question and wonder how many people would have answered that D, one of the answers, cardiovascular disease increases the risk for dementia as a connection to your heart functions. And the two have to go together. A third of the 25 to 30% of the oxygen we breathe goes to the brain, because the brain needs oxygen for it to be functioning properly. All right, there was a second one in here that I thought, which of the following is associated with lower risk for cognitive decline? Which of the following is associated with a lower risk for cognitive decline? Ginkgo biloba, dietary patterns that include regular intake of fish oil or omega-3 supplements, or something I've never heard of, ashwagandha, I never heard of it, Ashwagandha, I can't even pronounce it well. So here we go again. Which of the following is associated with lower risk for decline? The ginkgo, dietary patterns that include regular intake of fish oils, or omega-3 supplements, or ashwagandha. Yes, we'll try that for the last time. So now you look at that one and you go back and say, well, let me make sure I get to the right answer here. Which of the ones are the low risk of, what's number 3? Here we go. Dietary patterns higher in fish are associated with lower risk of cognitive decline. Unfortunately, the same associations are not made in people taking fish oil or omega-3 supplements. There are currently no proven or recommended supplements for boosting brain health or cognition. So go find your fish, your salmon, your tunas, fish oil, in the actual natural ingredients of fish itself. So here was one article out of the Tufts January issue I found very interesting. Then I get the Consumer Report on Health. I'm reading that. and what to eat before you sleep. So here we are. We got two elements there. You got the nutritional elements, which we just picked up here, but now you got how that impacts our sleep and how do we get better sleep habits and things of that sort. So this was, I found interesting because it talked about 5 food habits that can keep you up. And so now sleep, we know, is important because why? Our sleep, as we talk about here, is important because it cleans out the toxins that are in our brain. So as you're sleeping, this purification is taking place, and it needs at least 3 hours of deep sleep for it to take place. Well, now comes, again, the tie-in between sleep and nutrition. It talks about, well, what are some of the habits that keep you up, that impact your sleep? Unprocessed, ultra-processed foods such as soda, hot dogs, and chips. They're typically high in sugar, sodium, and fat, and low in fiber. Dietetics found that every 10% increase in the amount of UPF in a diet was associated with a 5 to 9% higher insomnia risk. Got a bug flying around here. I hope I got him. Caffeine. So we got the ultra-processed foods. Then we got caffeine. Older adults don't metabolize caffeine as quickly, so it lingers longer in your system. Okay. How about alcohol, right? Boy, this one's going back and forth like a ping pong ball. Alcohol may make you feel sleepy, but it also makes you feel less restful. Alcohol disturbs the sleep rhythms and leads to more episodes of waking up during the night. And yet alcohol, especially at this time of the year, it's like, wow, watch your alcohol levels. Spicy foods, my goodness, you go out for a late dinner, you wind up with some spicy foods. A lot of people think spicy foods are good for you, but here comes spicy foods. Any food that might give you a heartburn or indigestion, those that are spicy or acidic, or high in fat, such as buffalo chicken wings, can hit all three, can keep you awake at night. And boy, have I found that to be a problem at times. So what happens to your acid reflexes and as you have this dietary nutritional problems from spicy foods? And liquids too close to bedtime. Chugging a large glass of water or sipping herbal tea before you climb into bed disrupts sleep if it leads to you getting up multiple times to go to the bathroom. Hydrate a few hours beforehand. It's another way of saying get to bed and don't have anything to drink, usually around 6 or 7 o'clock. And of course, stress and what does stress do to us and how stress, I've read several articles. I didn't bring any of those with me right here because I've just continued to talk about stress and its impact on how we respond to things and how we have to calm ourselves down. So if you take a look at the nutritional habits, the sleep habits, your response to different things going on, our stress levels in terms of how we respond. And then how do you offset all of that? And so how do you take all of this? And I go to Science Focus. And I found this really interesting. You're only as old as you think. And what a fascinating article this was, because we talk about mental challenges, how you think about your memory, how you think about your being older, and whether or not being older is even more wisdom and you're more valuable to people. Your attitude towards aging can reduce the toll time takes on your brain and body. It's a statement that sounds ridiculous, but the science backs it up. The question is, how much could a change of attitude change your life and your life expectancy? And so I found that to be fascinating. I will talk about this one a little bit more on the next Live with Tony. But again, you're only as old as you think. And like, what? You mean by how I think about my age and how old I am may have an impact on my life expectancy and how old I really am? I mean, the science is just continuing to evolve and give us a new optimistic view of what's going on in our day-to-day activities. And I think it's exciting. And I just had a lot of reading over the last few days to catch up on. And I just had so many articles I put on the side that I want to cover over the next couple of weeks on my Live with Tony's. Happy holidays to all of you. I will be back with you on Monday. I'm hoping my cold and virus is gone completely by then. And we'll see you back here on Monday. So have a great weekend. Enjoy any celebrating you're continuing to do for the holidays, and be safe.